This is one thing that basically everybody gets wrong about money. There's a ton of it out there, and we can access more of it than we think. For example, the median salary in America is $54,000. The stock market paid out $574 billion in 2022 just in dividends. That's 10.6 million times the median salary, and that's just in dividends. Americans are sitting on $30 trillion in home equity, 555 million times the median salary. All of this money is accessed through partnerships. For homes, you partner with a bank. The stock market is a classic example of community investing and people pooling funds to make something happen. Why not leverage both a partnership with a bank and community investing to start building wealth with the people around you? And if you do these things, you'll be one of the few who actually get something right about money. So you might be sitting there and you're like, okay, Timmy, you're telling me to partner with a bank, you're telling me to do community investing, but like, where does all this money come from? How do I partner with a bank? How do I do community investing? And that's really what we're going to walk through today. First, we're going to start with community investing, because what even is that? Basically, and this rings true to this day, have you ever received $1 from somewhere that is not another person's pocket? No, never. Money always comes from other people. So is it the money we care about, or is it the people we care about? Always the people. And so when you're looking at community investing, it's pooling resources to create momentum while mitigating risk. Yes, you get a smaller chunk of the pie, but it's ideal for people who are younger, in their 20s, in their 30s, and have 10, 20, 30 years for their money to compound. But if you're in your 50s and your 60s, you can probably pool your assets together right now and buy cash flowing assets that will produce a life that you're looking to live. And you see this all around the world. I work for a hard money lender right now, and the only reason we can operate as a company is because we have hundreds of investors that have put hundreds of thousands of dollars with us, and we use that money to issue loans on real estate properties. The only reason companies in the stock market like Google can employ people across the world is because we invest in Google stock. That is literally giving Google money for equity in their company, and then they take that money and they increase its value, and we get paid passively for it. And there's such a cyclical nature to it, because some Google employees will get paid and then reinvest back in Google, or they get paid solely in stock dividend, and that's worth money. And so this is all just community investing, and that's really what you need to understand. We're pooling our funds to create a result and get more money from other people, right? That's how we serve our customers. Google serves customers. My real estate company that I work for serves customers. And that's just making money flow. Where did those customers get their money? They work for a job. Like, we have some people in my company that get paid a salary and then can also borrow from the company or can also invest in the company. And it's just money flowing. Cash flow, money flow. It's cyclical in nature. It's always moving around. And that's what you need to understand about community investing. For it to move, it needs to go from you to another individual back to you. So the question is, what can you start doing to create that cash flow in community investing? And for me, that's getting a community of people you know, like, and trust, like friends and family, pooling your extra resources. And that means pursuing extra resources together and then pooling them. So you get 5 friends together. If you're all broke, all 5 of you, the first thing you're doing in community investing is investing in yourselves, figuring out how to get better jobs. You can get into tech, you can get into sales, you can get into marketing, or you can get into business together, whatever. Increase your income, decrease your expenses, invest the difference, but then do it together. And when you do it together, say your difference is $1,000 a month because you spent the time investing in yourself, you've increased your salary, you've decreased your expenses, and you invest all the excess cash into an LLC that you guys form together with the intent of buying leveraged assets. And I say leveraged assets because you can access returns that you wouldn't otherwise be able to access. For example, in real estate, the tenants help you pay down your debt. In business, the customers help you pay down your debt. And so when you're buying cash flow, it's important to buy cash flow that will pay down debt from a bank. That's how you partner with the bank to further increase your net worth and free up more cash flow. And it's also important that there's a value add vehicle. Like in real estate, you can typically increase rents over time. In business, you can increase cash flow by doing a ton of things. But that's really what people are doing. They're buying cash flow and increasing cash flow. And cash flow is literally from one person to another. And so you can pool funds and get your $6,000 a month coming into the LLC. Use that $6,000 a month to start cash flowing from you to employees like virtual assistants that can help you cold call on businesses or cold call on real estate or do marketing services or whatever they're going to help you do. And then you can spend the rest of it to flow to another company to help you market and get leads. And now you have people on the operations side, people on the lead side. You just have to close them in the middle. And now you're collecting more cash flow from the customers. So you took your money to employees, to agencies that help you get leads. And the leads take their money back to you so that you can go back to the agency, back to the employees, and take some of the profit off the top for yourself. And wealthy people live off profits. The biggest thing that I learned from something Jim Rohn said, it's like, you're not salary, you're profits. That's what you live off of. So that's really how you start community investing. You pool funds, and if you don't have excess funds to pool, you pool resources and time and energy, which means you spend time, energy, and resources producing extra funds so that you can pool funds so that you can leverage people, businesses, and systems to further increase profits and cash flows by buying assets. That's what community investing is. And because you got with 6 people and you're doing $6,000 a month, you can build momentum faster while mitigating risk. And you can access loans that you might not have been able to access before or on your own. Furthermore, it just mitigates so much risk. And as long as you can expand your time horizon, it's like, okay, and you trust the people. You have to trust the people. There's a people risk here. But if you trust the people and you communicate well and you write up a good operating agreement, you're pooling your money, you're buying assets, you build momentum faster. For example, $6,000 a month for 12 months, $72,000. You can now buy a business worth $720,000. $1,000 a month on your own for 12 months is $12,000. You can now buy a business worth $120,000. A business worth $720,000 probably cash flows somewhere in the range of $350,000. A business worth $120,000 probably cash flows $60,000 to $120,000. So because you pooled your funds, you were able to access an additional $200,000 in cash flow, minimum. But that $200,000 in cash flow puts a CEO in that position. Now you guys have $100,000 coming, and guess what? In another year, you'll have $6,000 more plus $100,000 from the cash flow of that other business. Now you buy a $1.7 million business. So now you have a $1.7 million business and a $700,000 business, $2.4 million worth of business versus a $120,000 business and a $600,000 business. You've 4x'd it. But that's not all. After you have that $2.4 million business, you're probably cash flowing somewhere in the vicinity of $1 million a month, $1 million a year, $1.2 million a year. If the businesses didn't grow, you can then turn around and start to buy businesses cash for $1 million or cash for $2 million. And you just keep growing the businesses, keep putting operators in there, and you start to see really cool things happen. So that's the power of community investing. You get further faster and in a way where you've mitigated risk because you're only investing your excess. So you can say bye to that $1,000 and it doesn't even matter. And you have the expertise of people and the network of people all in your business. That's the power of partnerships. And you partner with the bank by getting the debt. You put the 10% down, they bring the 90%. Banks are so good. And it's another example of community investing because how do the banks get their money? People deposit money in the banks or they come in lump sums if you're working with a more creative lender. So, by partnering with the bank to get a mortgage on your house, you're already partaking in community investing. Why not do it in a more lucrative way? The next question is, where does all this money come from? It really comes from debt. That's the other thing. There are people who love Dave Ramsey, and Dave Ramsey is so, his principles are so good. Make money through your job, your greatest wealth creation vehicle. spend less than you make, invest the excess, and repeat. And then increase what you make, maintain your spending, and make sure it doesn't go greater than what you make. So if you're making $4,000 and you're spending $3,000, invest the $1,000. If you increased your income to making $6,000, now keep spending $3,000 and invest the difference, which is now $3,000, and your wealth starts to compound. Guaranteed. It's so true. I agree with it. But you gotta realize, like, 90+% of the money supply is debt. Like, most people can only buy homes because of debt. Banks work by writing debt. And so when you understand that you should use debt to buy cash flowing assets instead of liabilities, that's when you start to understand, okay, this is where money comes from, and I need to leverage my ability to partner with banks and partner with the people around me to get more bank financing to buy more assets. That's when the money game starts to make sense. Debt is not a bad thing. You just need to be able to cover the debt with the cash flow. Now, being too leveraged is a bad thing. And so in all these examples, I talk about putting 10% down. That's 90% leverage. You might want to save up till you could put 40% down, then you're less leveraged. Regardless, though, debt's not a bad thing. You just have to use it well. There's good debt and there's bad debt. And realize that a lot of the money you get comes from debt. Like, a lot of employers can only make payroll because they have relationships with banks where they can access debt. And so don't knock it till you try it. And then after you try it, if you fail the first time, still don't knock it, because it's really how the world works. That's where all the money comes from. And it's really just people at the bottom of everything. So the money comes from debt. You do community investing by getting friends, pooling your funds, and buying leveraged assets so you have access to opportunities and momentum building opportunities sooner rather than later. And that's why it has to be a leveraged asset so you can build momentum. And you partner with the bank by setting yourself up well for financing. That looks like getting your credit right, having a lot of money coming into the LLC, and having a lot of people who can sign on loans. And then you partner with the bank to get assets via community investing to access cash that comes from debt. And you use that debt well to buy assets that cash flow. That's what we got for you guys today on the show. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you on the next one. And remember, we are a community of people judged not by our wealth, but by our impact.